Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again for another life lesson from the Soul's Journey lesson deck. We're about halfway through the deck, so still a lot of great topics to discuss, a lot of great resources to add to some of the areas that we've been looking at so far. So let's see what we're going to add to our board today. This is great. We're going to talk about fear. This is my absolute favorite thing to talk about because it is so powerful, and when we start to understand it and take control, the transformation that happens in our lives is incredible. The bottom of the card says, I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. As we move through life, there are only two places in which we can experience or view life from. One is a place of love, the other is a place of fear. Love or fear, that's it. When we are experiencing life from a place of love, we are experiencing that from the soul level, connected to the heart, to the true self. And what that allows us to do is to move through each and every experience feeling a little bit more grounded, a little bit more connected. It allows us to think more clearly and to make better decisions. When we are viewing life or experiencing life from that place of fear, that is where all our suffering comes from, okay? So ego mind is fear-based. It's a part of us. That voice in the head is always going to be there. It's a part of you, but it is not you, right? If you think about it, someone is noticing that voice in the head. That someone is who you truly are. That is your soul, your spirit, whatever resonates with you. That is the true you. So this ego mind, this fear-based mind, that voice in your head is a part of you, but it is not who you are, okay? But sometimes it becomes the driver of our vehicle as we move through life. And it can create a lot of suffering. It can keep us stuck, and it can block us from receiving abundance or for achieving different goals or things that we're striving for. And so as we move through life, we want to try to spend more of our time in heart-based living instead of fear-based living. And we're going to be tested all the time as we go through life. We waver back and forth from that place of love, place of fear. And that's the way it is. But the more we can start to understand it, we can recognize where we are, whether we're in that place of fear or that place of love, and shift when we need to. And the fear-based mind is usually prevalent when our thoughts are really stuck back in the past or we're worrying about the future, right? I think somewhere along one of these videos I shared a quote about, if you have anger and sadness and guilt and those sort of negative feelings, you're stuck in the past. And if you have worry, you're in the future. It's only in present moment that you can find peace. And so when we're feeling fearful or agitated, anxious, those uncomfortable feelings, it's a good indication that you're probably fear-based living or you're viewing life from that place of fear. If you think about this, you've noticed people, or maybe you yourself have done this when you're really stressed out or panicking or feeling really anxious. A lot of times what the hands tend to do is they go to the head, right? We're oh my goodness, oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with this? And what we're doing by taking our hands up there is we're giving power to that fear-based mind, again, to be the driver of our vehicle. What we want to do is come from here and bring everything to here, to the heart, to the soul, so that we can make that shift and bring ourselves into a better place, again, where we are more grounded, where we can think more clearly, where we can feel a bit calmer, and then make the best decisions. And there's a couple of ways we can do this. The first thing, the simple act of bringing one or both hands onto your heart, maybe closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths. Just bringing the hands to here, it brings you back to self, okay? And it brings that calmness into your body. And it's amazing what this does just to your whole body, especially even your nervous system. Try it the next time you're having to have a difficult conversation with somebody. when you're really uncomfortable, or you're not even necessarily fighting, but maybe it's an argument, or maybe you're really just in a deep, heated conversation about something you believe in. And it's hard at those times to not become defensive, to not, feel your heart starting to beat and your breath starting to become rapid, those sorts of things. By just doing this, as you have your conversation, you'll find that you're able to communicate more slowly, more calmly. You'll be able to say things in a much more positive way, and it changes the whole experience, just this simple act. So start to practice that. And the next thing is to, again, be aware of your thoughts. Okay, so when you're feeling panicked, when you're feeling anxious, when you feel fear, notice where your thoughts are. They're likely in the past, or they're in the future, right? The past, we cannot change. We have no control over it. The future is just our imagination. It is only in present moment that we can find peace. And that is where we want to live our life from as much as possible. Okay, and the more we start to practice that, the easier it is to pull ourselves back into that place of love as we're pulled into that place of fear. And again, it will happen. It's still something I work at almost daily, right? We go through life and little things happen, and there's all these little triggers that remind us of things that happened, or make us think about, well, what if this happens in the future? But as soon as we have that awareness, again, we stop, we shift, take a breath, and go, okay, let it go. All that matters is right now. Bring yourself into that place of love. And it brings so much calmness and peace into your day. And I promise you, it is a game changer. Okay? So as you move through your day, as you move through the rest of your week, notice where you are viewing life, where you're experiencing life. Is it from a place of love, or is it from that place of fear? And start to practice shifting. Okay? Again, just like everything else, the more you practice it, the easier it gets. And I promise you, it is what helps you to get through more difficult things that are going to come your way in a lot more comfortable manner. Okay? Again, it doesn't mean that you're not going to feel pain, you're not going to feel sadness or some of those other negative feelings. But when we're in that heart-based living, we can be a little bit more understanding. We can be more accepting. We get that feeling that we are still somewhat in control of what's going on, rather than being up here and feeling like everything is spiraling out of control and we're losing everything, right? Come back to here. This is a beautiful place to be. This is who you are. It's like coming home. Have a fabulous day, and I will see you soon for more great discussions.